That's a lot of fun there, guys. So let's talk 22s today. Something a little bit different for you. The reason I want to talk about these is a lot of people mention, sorry about the noise, there's construction going on. I'll try to be loud. That guy's Jake breaking down the road. That's his problem. So anyway, let me get back to the gun here. So I wanted to go over these because they are absolutely, you're all gonna bash at me for being a huge 22 guy. They're probably my favorite guns I have. So these ones that I have here specifically are the Tippmann arms, not the paintball gun company. I get that question all the time. M422 Elite. So this one I have in flat dark earth. I just wanted to kind of go over it because they're so fun. And I know a lot of people are much more familiar with the MP1522 by Smith & Wesson. I do have one of those as well. I actually started out with that, and I found these, gave one a try. This is a newer one. I have an older one that's black, but anyway, wanted to give them a try, and I absolutely fell in love with them. So before I get into all the specs, let's run a few more rounds. All right, I hope you enjoyed that footage of these things running, because I sure as hell like shooting them. I mean, they're a great time. That's why I did this video. First of all, they're a ton of fun to shoot. Second, like I mentioned before, it's honestly, I would say, my favorite gun I have. I know that's kind of weird. I just enjoy shooting it so much. I use them for a lot of small game hunting. It's probably my most used firearm. So just wanted to shed a little light here. So let's go over this thing a little bit. So I'm actually going to start up on top with the barrel, and a lot of people go from the bottom. I'm going to change it up a little bit. So we'll talk about the rail first. I love the rails on these. So it has M-lock on the side. You have the pick rail on top. So anywhere you want attachments, and I'll show you my other one. I do have a little angled grip on it. This one I haven't done that just yet. I only got it a month or so ago, so that's great for attachments. I have an EO Tech on there. You're thinking that's overkill? I almost think it's underkill. I love running this on here because it was actually on my one of my 5.56s, and it just sat in the safe all the time. So I threw it on here, and it is a blast to run with. So, and as far as thread count, it's 1/2 by 28. So you guys that want to run suppressed, I wish I could. I don't have my stamp for that, so I can't do that just yet, but that hopefully I'm working toward here shortly. So that's fully functional, just has a standard bird cage on there, just like any other AR. So when you move back here, I know you can see it. So we'll talk about the bolt here. Now, I'll get you a little better view. There it is, a little bit up close. So the bolt in it is nickel plated. So basically it's super smooth. There's no binding, and 22 is a notoriously extremely dirty round. I usually shoot stingers out of this because I'm hunting with it. Stingers are Velocitors from CCI, and they'll run those perfect. But today I was actually shooting Federal Bulk Pack 40 grain, and it ran perfect, but the gun was very clean. After I'm running that for quite a while, it gets so dirty in there. But with that bolt, that makes a big difference. So I just put that light coat of lubricant on it, and it runs awesome. I mean, I have no problem with that. Very few and far between, but as far as the 22 goes, they've been incredibly reliable for me. So that's a huge thing for me. So, and I have this. Oh, by the way, guys, the charging handle. I'm sorry, not the charging handle. The forward assist is functional. I know a lot of guys don't want to use that because you're basically forcing a round in. Anyway, but a lot of these 22 ARs, if you want to call them, that is not functional. That's just for look. So this is fully functional. So going to the charging handle, which I was about to say, which got cut up here. This one's aftermarket here. But let me see if you can get a better view. It's trying to focus on me. So this is an ambidextrous one. I got it. So it's FDE. It's aluminum. It feels awesome. I like that extension here. So if I'm wearing gloves, it It's no problem at all. So that's great. Moving back here, so it actually functions on a buffer spring. So I'll jump back to that 1522. That does not. This gun does. So it's actually a really cool feature. If you're trying to get as close to a AR-15 as far as function goes, this is as close as I've found. I've seen a couple others, but there's always one or two things that are just not quite there. So, and there obviously the spring is a lot softer. It functions on full blowback. So with the 22, you don't have that much blowback on it, but I love that it functions off that. It doesn't affect reliability at all. It runs great. And I'm going to mention, when you're shooting it, actually, one of the first things I noticed, even with headphones on, you can hear the spring and the bolt cycling on the inside, which is kind of weird. It was kind of weird to get used to. So I think that's cool. I love it. So it's, pretty much identical to an AR-15 for cross training or whatever. I don't really use it for cross training. I just love shooting the hell out of it. Yes, it probably does translate over, but it's always a little bit different feel shooting a 5.56 versus a 22. But if you're looking to get something extremely close, this would be the route to take, in my opinion, and that's probably worth a lot, in my opinion. We've decided that by now. So it does lock back on the last round, which is nice. I like that a lot. I mean, most do. Most are locked into the magazine on that last round. So this one's fully functional. On a shutter there, that works exactly as it should. So I'm not going to talk about the trigger much. It's a 22 and it's an AR. I like the trigger a lot, and again, I'm not a big trigger snob, so the only things I've done to this is exactly how the gun comes. The only thing I have done is obviously put the EOTech on. They're not going to send that unless you want to spend a lot more money on it. It was a charging handle. I replaced that right away. The standard one's just like a standard AR charging handle, just that polymer whatever. I did put the Magpul stock on there because they do send that standard, and it's black that they send, so I didn't think that would look very good. Also, the grip, I did the same thing. Other than that, it's completely stock. I haven't done anything. I probably run, only 200-300 rounds to this one. It hasn't had many. So other than it being relatively new, I've had no problems with it. I had a little bit of an issue when I got it that was totally my fault. I took the bolt out here, and I'll actually give you a quick look at that. It is empty, just so you guys know. Let me see if I can get my hand in here, and I can. So, comes out just like an AR. There's the bolt right there. Does get a little bit dirty. It's kind of hard to tell here in the video, but it was clean before. So that's one thing I really like that they have on there is it's just the same. So when you're cleaning it, you can get everything out. All the internals are open, and like I mentioned before, it's because in 22 they get so dirty and a lot of buildup. So I do have that one. I'm not going to go over this one in depth, even though this was kind of the original. I have a Holosun on here, red dot, and I have a Vortex magnifier. Again, we use it for small game hunting, but this one here I bet you has 5,000-6,000 rounds through it. Other than your standard little failure to feed when it's dirty, I've had zero problems. So if you guys are looking for something that's extremely close to a true 5.56 AR, give these guys a shout. And this is not a plug. They haven't helped me at all. I absolutely love these rifles. They're extremely reliable and extremely fun. Obviously, it's heavier than your 1522s because that's an all polymer gun. Excuse me. So if you guys want to see anything more on 22s, I mentioned that in a video before. I'll keep putting them out. I could do a comparison on the 1522 for whoever's interested as well. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned.